Hello royals, welcome back to my channel. Today what we have on the menu, it is waakye and some stew. All right, it is one of Ghanaian favorite and famous rice and beans, and we also have some shito on the side. I actually have the recipe for this on my channel as well. So this meal is super delicious. It is great for a party, it is great for a meal for you and your family. So if you are interested, stay tuned. Now if you are new royal, please do not forget to subscribe to my channel and turn the notification bell on so you are notified each time I go live. All right, here's what we need for the recipe. We need some red bell peppers, some tomatoes, some rosemary, some shallot onions. We need some red onion. We will use also some garlic, some ginger, some habanero pepper, some bay leaf, some oregano powder. This is up to you. All right, we also need some clove, some dry clove. I will also be using the fresh one. All right, we also need some rosemary, some ginger, some white pepper. I will also be using some chicken bouillon, some black pepper, paprika, and some shrimp powder. All right, this is what we're going to be used for seasoning, and also onion powder. So I will use some red snapper, some beef neck, and I will use some oxtail and some tripe, as well as some beef meat. Right, we will then proceed to use tomato sauce and tomato paste and canola oil. I will also post the ingredient in the description so you get to know what I'm using, but again, use whatever you want. All right, so what I'm doing next, I'm simply putting half of the shallots, the onion, also some ginger and the garlic. I will blend this and put that on my meat. All right, so just add a little bit of water, that way it's not too watery. So I'm simply going to blend this and add that to my meat first, so the meat can actually start cooking on the side. So once I put the pot on fire, I will simply start seasoning the meat that is in the pot. All right, after adding the onion. So what I will do first, I will simply add my salt on there. I will also add my black pepper, my chicken bouillon. I will add my oregano seasoning. Again, when it comes to the seasoning, always use seasoning of your choice. All right, this is what I prefer, that's what I'm using. Then I would then add my white pepper, my onion powder, and I will also add my rosemary. I will then stir all of this up really well, and I will let it to stay on fire for a good 20 minutes. So in another bowl, I began preparing my tomato sauce. So what I did, right, I simply blended all the other ingredients, which is the tomatoes, the red bell peppers, the garlic, the ginger, and the habanero pepper. I blended everything, and I'm simply putting this in this bowl so the water can drain from it, and I will then add that to my stew when I begin to make the process super fast. So here's how the meat is currently looking. It is looking super great. So we let it cook some more, so while we focus on the other side. So I'm now beginning the main stew. So in the pan, I simply put my Canola Oil in there, and I put my shallot in there as well. So I simply wait for it to be caramelized just like this, and I will proceed to add my onion, the ginger, the garlic, the shallot, and the pepper that I have blended on the side, so I can then introduce that to my oil. All right, I will then let it cook for a good 15 minutes. Then I would then go ahead and add my tomato paste. I will put everything in there and stir it super well to ensure it is well thoroughly and evenly, and I let that cool for an additional 15 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes actually, before I proceed to the next step. In a separate pot, I'm simply beginning frying my fish. That way it will simply make the process fast. I season it with some curry powder and some bouillon. So while this is being done, I will then proceed to go back to the pot to add my tomato sauce. All right, I will let this cook for an additional 10 minutes before I proceed to add the other tomato sauce that I was cooking on the side. It is now ready. I will simply introduce that to my pot. and I would stir it. Then I would then begin seasoning it with black pepper, with some paprika, with some clove, with some white powder, with some onion powder, with some curry powder. I'll add some rosemary, all right, and some chicken bouillon. You can use any season of your choice. This is what I prefer. And I will simply stir it very well, and I will let it cook for an additional 15 minutes. All right, then I will then proceed to add my shrimp powder. Okay, this is how it looks like. I'll add my shrimp powder and wait till it is cooked for an additional 5 minutes. At this point, we are now ready to put the meat that we were cooking on the side in the pot with everything. Okay, the sauce, everything, put it in there, and then you simply go ahead and stir it up. Okay, super well. Make sure all the season go also in the stew. This is where the flavor is all hiding. All right, so if you have a little bit left behind, just put some water in there, rinse it out and put it back in the pot, and then let it sit, let it cook for an additional 15 minutes. All right, guys, our stew is almost ready. So if you watch all the way till here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you are aware when I post new video, and also like this video. Make sure you do this. All right, it tasted so good. Okay, my husband was like, this is one of their best stew ever. My kids, everybody loved it. So make this, and don't forget to tag me on IG at Queen Esther. Always let me know that you actually made this with for your family. It's great for parties, for events, whatever the case may be. All right, so do this. So this is what our stew now looks like. It was beyond the fire for 15 to 20 minutes, and I'm adding a extra oil because I realized that it kind of dried up because I'm yet to put my fish in there. So adding sauce and things like this to stew, adding oil to stew really help it stay longer. So that's what I'm doing. And our stew is almost ready. We are simply waiting for the fish to add to it, and we are done. So our fish is ready. So all I'm doing, I'm adding the fish to the stew. The stew has actually been on the fire for an additional 20 minutes. I want it to stay a little longer. And this is how it looks like. It looks super done and delicious too. So all I'm doing right now, I'm putting a little bit of the stew on the fish. I don't stir it, so I don't, just so the fish doesn't crack up and things of that nature. So I'm just adding the stew over the fish, and our stew is done. So what I'm now doing next is to start doing the actual rice and beans, which is Awaakye. All right, so all I have 4 cups of rice right here. I then also have my black-eyed peas, my Awaakye leaves. This can be found in any African store. All right, I'm also having some salt and some baking soda. All right. So what I do first, I simply put the black-eyed peas in a bowl, and I introduce some warm water right to the beans. That way it can soak. The bean is usually hard, so I want it to soak for a good 20 to 30 minutes before I even begin the process. All right, so let it soak up very well. It will wash it well as well, and I'll remove anything that is bad from on the top, and then I would then begin cooking my beans. All right, so while this is happening, I would then go ahead and start washing my my Awaakye leaves very well. Now I have a bowl here. When I begin washing it, I realized, now let me just go ahead and proceed to the sink. It's much better, but I just want to show you how it's being washed. All right. So after I was done washing it, I actually began proceeding to cook this in 6 cups of water. So it simply didn't get recorded for some reason, but that's what I was doing on this side. So this is what it's doing in the back there. It's cooking, the liver cooking, and I'm also putting this rice washed clean and everything, and I put in the microwave for 3 minutes. All right, 3 to 5 minutes. What that does is that it speeds up the process of the rice cooking faster. So after this has been cooked for 25 minutes, I then proceed to remove the leaf from the water before I introduce my beans in there. All right, let it cook for 25 minutes. You can do it longer if you want your rice to be even more red. You can do 25 to 30 minutes. So I just did for 25 minutes, and I then went ahead and added my beans in there, and I let my beans cook for 30 minutes. All right, make sure the beans is not fully cooked. All right, and then after that is cooked, you will then introduce your rice to the beans. So that's all I'm doing right now. So after adding my beans, I then added some salt and some baking soda. What that does is that it makes the beans cook faster and softer. All right, so that's all I'm doing, and I let it cook again, as I was saying, for a good 25 minutes. All right, then I will proceed to add my rice in the mix. So this is how the beans is looking now. It's super red, and then I also added the rice right after it, but for whatever reason it didn't record. So you want to make sure you add your rice after 25 minutes and let it cook all together for 20-25 minutes. All right, make sure you keep checking your rice to ensure that it is soft. All right, it depends how you like your rice. I like my rice to be soft, so I let it cook for 25 minutes, and this is how it's looking. And every now and then you want to make sure you turn your rice just to make sure it is cooking very well. So that is all I'm doing right now, and this is the color. Look how beautiful it looks, and we are almost at the finish line. Okay. So here is the finished product. The rice is cooked and served. You can eat this however you want. All right, but again, with the stew that we just made, it goes perfectly with it. My kids enjoy. My son is speaking, my oldest son, but he loved this. Mommy, this is so good. All right, so make sure you do this. So this is how it looks like. I have some egg in there, some spaghetti, some salad, and some gari. Those are optional. All right, and this is my shito. I have this recipe how I made this on my channel. I will pin it to this video. Make sure you check it out so you can make it for yourself. I have so many of it, about 4 bottles of shito. All right, so wash it and then make your own. Delicious. Okay? So for my salad, I simply make my own dressing. I use this mayonnaise. It can be found in any store. It's in the Spanish aisle, and I add some Maggi cube, a little bit with 1 teaspoon in olive oil, and I use that to dress my salad. Right? It is optional. This is super delicious, guys. Make sure you like this video, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel or comment below. Let me know that you made this. All right, and thank you so much for watching. Until I see you next time, have an awesome day. Au revoir. Salut.